day, and it decides the price of your rent. It's not in a smoke-filled room. There are no handshakes, no whispered agreements. The participants have never even met, and the one running the meeting isn't even a person. It's a piece of software. An algorithm that has quietly, systematically rigged the cost of housing for millions of Americans, pushing families to their breaking point, turning neighbors into competitors, all while making a handful of corporate landlords astonishingly rich. This isn't a bug in the system. It is the system, working exactly as designed. For decades, setting rent was a messy human process. Landlords would look at their building. They would check the building across the street. They'd see how many empty units they had. They'd get a gut feeling for the neighborhood. If an apartment sat vacant for too long, they'd get nervous. An empty apartment bleeds money. So, they'd lower the price. They had to. They were competing against every other landlord in the city. The goal was simple: keep every single unit full. 100% occupancy. That was success. Then came a company called RealPage. RealPage offered these landlords a powerful new tool. It was called Yield Star. The pitch was irresistible. Stop guessing what to charge for rent. Stop competing. Let our powerful data-driven algorithm tell you the perfect price. The one that will maximize your revenue. All the landlords had to do was agree to one simple trade. They had to give RealPage their private, non-public data. Every single day. How many units they had. What they were charging for 1 bedrooms, for 2 bedrooms. How many people were moving in. How many were moving out. Sensitive internal information that they would never, ever share with their competitors. But they weren't sharing it with competitors. They were giving it to a neutral third party, an algorithm. Overnight, thousands of landlords in cities across America signed up, from Greystar Real Estate Partners to Cushman & Wakefield. These are some of the largest property management firms in the country, controlling hundreds of thousands of apartments. They all began feeding their private data into the same black box, and every morning the black box sent them a list of prices, not suggestions. Prices. A former RealPage employee said that landlords who deviated from the algorithm's price got a call. They had to explain themselves. Following the price was mandatory. 90% of the time, landlords accepted the price the algorithm spit out. Suddenly, something strange started happening to rent prices. They only went up. The algorithm had a completely different philosophy than a human landlord. It did not believe in 100% occupancy. In fact, it punished landlords for having full buildings. The system was designed to model a target occupancy rate of around 95 to 96%. If a building was too full, the algorithm would aggressively raise rents to drive tenants out. The logic was cold, brutal, and effective. The software calculated that it was more profitable to have one apartment sit empty for 2 months just to rent it for $150 more than it was to keep it occupied at a lower price. This defies all traditional market logic. In a competitive market, landlords fight to fill vacancies. They lower prices to attract tenants from their rivals. But YieldStar turned competitors into collaborators. The algorithm knew what every other building using the software was charging. It knew their vacancy rates. It could see the entire market in real time. So when one landlord in Phoenix raised the rent on a 2-bedroom apartment, the algorithm saw it. It then told every other client in that same neighborhood to do the same thing. It created an artificial floor. There was no more undercutting, no more competition. Everyone was marching in lockstep, following the daily orders from the algorithm. They had outsourced their pricing to a system that was using their own collective data to raise prices on everyone, simultaneously. The results were catastrophic for renters. A 2022 investigation by ProPublica uncovered the scale of this operation. In one Seattle neighborhood, after 10 of the largest property managers began using the software, Rents for available apartments exploded by 14.5% in a single year. That's not a gentle market adjustment. That is a price shock. Similar spikes were seen in Denver, in Nashville, in Atlanta. Anywhere RealPage gained a significant market share, rents followed a steep upward trajectory that defied local wage growth and normal inflation. This wasn't just about making more money, it fundamentally broke the negotiation process. The algorithm taught landlords to be inflexible. A leasing agent's job used to be about closing a deal, bringing a person in, showing them the apartment, maybe offering a small discount to get them to sign. The algorithm changed that. It told landlords to reject partial payments, to hold out for the highest possible price, even if it meant leaving a unit empty for weeks. Empathy was a liability. The human element, the give and take of a normal negotiation, was engineered out of the entire process. The company itself boasted about its power. In marketing materials and earnings calls, RealPage executives bragged about how their software helped landlords push rents beyond what they would have done on their own. They presented case studies showing how property managers who adopted their system saw revenues increase by up to 7%. They called it unleashing the value of their properties. For the 29,000 people who lost their jobs at Enron in 2001, the feeling was similar. A system they trusted had betrayed them. For renters today, that betrayal comes every month with the rent bill. They were playing a game, and the rules had been rewritten without their knowledge. The ProPublica investigation was a bombshell. It pulled back the curtain on this entire scheme, and the backlash was immediate. Within months, renters filed more than 20 separate class action lawsuits against RealPage and its biggest landlord clients. They accused them of forming a modern-day cartel, of violating the Sherman Antitrust Act. The argument is simple. Price fixing is illegal. It doesn't matter if you do it in a boardroom or through a shared algorithm. Agreeing to raise prices in unison by sharing non-public data through a third party is an antitrust violation. The Department of Justice agreed. The DOJ launched its own investigation. They filed a statement of interest in the ongoing lawsuits, signaling that they see this as a serious threat to market competition. They stated that algorithms are not a free pass. Companies cannot hide behind a thin veil of an algorithm to engage in illegal price-fixing conspiracies. The legal battle lines were drawn. On one side, giant corporations with billions of dollars at stake. On the other, millions of ordinary renters who were simply trying to keep a roof over their heads. This is the silent hijack. Landlords willingly handed over the keys to their business. They gave an algorithm total control over their pricing. In exchange, they got higher profits, insulated from the risks of genuine competition. The algorithm created a buffer. It removed their fear of empty apartments. It removed their need to compete with the building across the street. And it removed the renter's power to negotiate. The software aggregated market-wide data that was once secret and used it to ensure that no landlord would dare undercut the others. The fight brewing in the courts today is about more than just RealPage. It's about the future of our economy. As algorithms make more and more decisions, from what you pay for a flight to your insurance premium to your credit score, the potential for this kind of algorithmic collusion grows exponentially. Without transparency and without accountability, these black box systems can quietly reshape entire markets to benefit a few, at the expense of everyone else. The resolution will not be swift. These cases will likely take years to snake through the legal system. But the outcome will set a monumental precedent. It will determine whether our antitrust laws, written over a century ago for railroad barons and oil tycoons, can hold up in the age of artificial intelligence. It will decide if landlords can form a digital cartel or if the free market actually has to be free. The secret meeting is no longer a secret. The algorithm has been exposed. Now the question is what we decide to do about it. The systems that control our finances are often hidden in plain sight. This was just one of them. To make sure you see the next one coming, subscribe for more.